WWE superstars frustrated after the Royal Rumble, and we might have some potential spoilers for WWE Raw tonight. But before we get to that, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. First, let's talk about the backlash from the Royal Rumble. We already know what a lot of fans think. The feelings coming out of the Royal Rumble from fans was mixed, to say the least. There were a lot of people who were upset at the fact that people like Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey came out and won. These part-timers came into Royal Rumble and won and took spots away from WrestleMania from people like Big E, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, like three people especially who people wanted to see win and kind of be pushed. I would agree with that sentiment. But this report has to do with something that is a little different than that. This report has to do with sentiments from superstars leading into the Royal Rumble and the frustrations that went along with it. Now, this was PW Insider reported that there were apparently many talents who were upset with the amount of changes that happened throughout Royal Rumble week. It was reported that as many as 20 changes happened. It got to a point where people were remembering getting down their spots for the Royal Rumble, and then by the time they would get them down and have them down and be ready for the match, boom, they would get switched, they would get changed, and it just seemed like every time that a wrestler or a superstar was fine with what they were doing, they would just change what they were doing, which anyone in any industry, any profession understands how that can be very frustrating. We already know how WWE likes to change things up. There was actually an anonymous source, an anonymous quote in that report. I do recommend you guys check that out, PW Insider. But we understand the WWE, this is what they do. This is what they've come to do, and this is what has grown a lot of, I don't want to say anti-WWE sentiment, but it has grown a lot of just resent from both fans and former superstars, and I'm sure there were superstars who were on there who were obviously frustrated because, like I said, when you have your entire structure changed, and when you have your entire spot changed or your entire night's match changed multiple times, you're going to end up being kind of clustered in your head. You're going to end up being just unsure of yourself, and you're going to end up just maybe even forgetting a spot or two or messing up. And that's why I think we saw some clunkiness in this Royal Rumble. I noted that earlier in my Royal Rumble live stream, that there was a bit of clunkiness that was going on, and maybe this is one of the big reasons why. But again, this is what WWE do. Vince McMahon likes to change the script at the last minute, and it's just something that superstars and fans have to learn to live with, unfortunately. Now, the other big news and the big story coming out of the Royal Rumble is obviously surrounding Ronda Rousey. Now, Ronda Rousey won the Royal Rumble, and she is set to appear at WWE Raw tonight. Now, the big thing is, a lot of people coming in said, oh, if Ronda wins, she's obviously going to face the man, Becky Lynch, right? Wrong. So there was a report from Dave Meltzer. Dave Meltzer reported that the match at WrestleMania is likely going to be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. There's multiple reasons for this. I think the number one reason really is they're not ready for the match with Becky because Becky's character isn't there yet. Becky Lynch is currently big-time Beck. She's not the man. I kind of talked about this in a video earlier, but she's not the same Becky Lynch that people were hot to see when that Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch feud happened in 2018, 2019. And that's the match you're going to do if you're WWE. That's the match you got to do. You got to do the man Becky Lynch versus Rowdy Ronda Rousey. You're not going to do big-time Bex, who's a heel, versus Ronda Rousey because the fans are going to cheer Becky Lynch anyway. So that makes sense in that respect. And there's apparently plans to have Becky Lynch return as the man and bring that gimmick back. Becky Lynch actually already talked about that there are plans to bring back the man. So that's going to be cool. So tonight, look for them to maybe tease this. They're probably going to tease, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. But the announcement, whether it's tonight or maybe even on Friday Night SmackDown, is going to be that Ronda Rousey will take on Charlotte Flair. Hey everyone, we hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, keep it real.